How do I tell my South African wife that I sacrificed our son by mistake? Do you think that she is going to forgive me? Brother Nashi, I want you to ask that questions to your listeners so that they can assist me, because I am at a crossroads right now. I am thinking about a lot of things at the same time. I am even thinking about ending my own life because of the things that I am supposed to be doing to our other son, and I don't think that he is safe because of the money rituals that I did. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that we received. Apologies for not posting in the past few days because we were having a lot of issues with our network. The first message that I am going to be sharing with you, it reads like this. Brother Nashi, how are you? Please post my story as hidden identity. I am trapped in this demonic world. I don't even know how I am going to get out of this situation. But in order for everyone to understand me as a human being, not because of my nationality, I want to take you back what forced me to come to South Africa in the first place. I came to South Africa way back. It is about 22 years ago when I first crossed the Limpopo River coming into South Africa. Back then, there used to be a train that used to cross borders. So sometimes you would jump on that moving train, and then when you were on the South African side, you will get out of the train. I was young, I was ambitious. I wanted to change my family background because I came from a very poor background. When I came to Johannesburg, what I thought was going to happen did not happen. I thought that I was even going to become a university professor because of the way that I had graduated and I could not get a job. Instead, with my degree in Johannesburg, I ended up spending years. I was just doing manual labor on construction sites. This was around Johannesburg. But because I knew what I wanted to achieve in South Africa, I knew the kind of a poverty that had forced me to South Africa and what was going to make me to return back to Zim was that I was supposed to have something to do when I return back home. So I knew what I wanted. When other guys that I was working with, when they would go for lunch, I would stay behind with my white boss and I would be helping him. As you know, the white people, when you are working for them, they don't go to lunch. They work. They are always working. So my boss, he started to love me because I would eat whilst I was standing and eating. And he taught me everything about building, drawing maps, as well as bricklaying, painting, and as well as paving. Slowly, I started to do my own subcontract because my boss, he would get these very big contracts, and eventually he started to subcontract me because he could not be at all the places at the same time. I was getting small business tenders, but through him, since I was foreign, whilst I was building my small construction business, I was looking for true love. That is another thing that I did not mention in the beginning of my story. South African women will make you believe that they have true love if you have money. But once the money is gone, then you will start to see the real South African woman. And no matter how many times these women were hurting me, but I kept on going back to the same women that would have hurt me. Maybe it is because of the beauty as well as the softness of their hearts. I was severely hurt, used, and dumped by the same woman over and over again. It even reached a certain point in my life whereby she slept with a guy right in front of me whilst I was crying. And she said that she was sorry the moment that she and that guy finished sleeping together. It was not a normal situation. What had happened on that night was that I had spent a couple of days going to her mother's house looking for him. And We did not even know where she was. And the family was like, but we know that you are the one who was dating our daughter. If anything happens to her, we are just going to look up to you. So I was traumatized emotionally. And when she popped up out of nowhere, she had spent nearly 2 weeks. No one even knew where she was. When she finally came back, she could not give me a proper explanation. That very same evening, when I prepared that I was going to spend a night with him because I missed her big time, that was when she hit me with paper number 2. Her mom was not around. She had gone to church. When I arrived at her house, she was alone, and surprised, she was with a boyfriend. I started to cry, and she said that, I don't want you to go. I want you to stay because you might go and kill yourself. So she ended up sleeping with a guy whilst I was there, and she said that she did not know who to decide between me and that South African boyfriend of hers. It was very traumatizing. It was as if she had bewitched me, and this is what made me to waste a lot of years in South Africa, not owning anything in South Africa as well as in Zim. I was living hand to mouth. I would get money that my former boss will give to me after a subcontract, and then that woman will just eat my money. And she ate that money left, right, and center. And she would dump me after she would have seen that I am broke. I don't even have a single cent. I can say that the betrayal that made me to become hopeless, it happened when I met a certain woman. She was a South African police officer, and she hired my construction company through my boss, and my boss then gave me the subcontract to me. I was supposed to build a private residential house. It was in a gated community. When the project started, of course, I could see that the woman, she was pretty beautiful, but I did not expect that I was going to be dating her. So because she was highly attractive, all the boys that I was working with, whenever she would come to check up on us, if we were working, we would look at her and say that this one, she deserves to be Miss South Africa and even Miss Universe. So she started to seduce me. I did not know that a couple of women, they do this in Joburg. If she wants her house to be built for free, she will sleep with the manager, or she will sleep with the guy that is building her house. How are you going to go to her and tell her that you want your money, yet you are sleeping with her on a daily basis? So we started to date. This was a married woman. We were dating, sleeping with each other in secret. One evening I will never forget, she had me wrapped in her arms, and she was looking at me directly in the eyes. We were busy making love. It was heaven on earth. That was when she was like, my love, you know how much I love you. My money that I'm getting, the government salary, it is too small. I cannot afford to pay you the money that you said that we are supposed to pay you, me and my husband. My love, tell me, what are you going to do with me? You know that I'm completely broke, but I promise you that if you complete this house for me, using your own money to buy materials, to pay your boys, I promise that this body, everything, the cookie will be yours forever. My heart belongs to you. I was completely blinded by her sweet Xhosa accent as well as her fake love. I agreed to that stupid contract that I had with her cookie. I took all of the savings that I had, and I was even borrowing money from the Machonisas. They did not mind to give me the money because they knew that I was getting a lot of contracts. So they gave me money. I was even buying cement with my own money. Can you believe it, Brother Nash, that this was what I was doing? So each and every person that I hired, the money was coming out of my own pockets. I was hiring professional people to do the roofing, the painting, as well as those that were going to come and to do the plumbing. She only paid for the guys that came to do the electricity. When the house was done, brother, that was when I saw that this woman, she meant business. One afternoon, I was at her house. I was even imagining that I was going to become the man of her house, as she had said that she wants to divorce a South African husband so as to get married to me, and we were going to enjoy our life together. I just saw 4 police vans. I was busy watering alone when I saw 4 police vans that were rushing towards her house in that same gated community. I knew that this woman was the one that wanted me to get arrested. So I ran and I was hiding behind this other house, and those guys, they looked for me. They did not find me. When I was exiting the estate, I saw them. They were waiting for me. They arrested me. They threatened that they were going to deport me to Zim since I was an illegal foreigner, and if I would ever be seen close to that estate, they were going to shoot me. I was completely heartbroken. I tried to speak with him, but she had blocked me. She was no longer answering any kind of a call. Even if I would register a new SIM card, it was as if she just knew that it was I that was trying to get to her. So she did not even want to speak with me. And I was owing a lot of money to the Machonisa guys. I was owing money to my own construction workers, as well as those people that came to do the specialized roofing, painting. I was owing a white guy who did the pavement, the guys that came to do the landscaping. And to those that are going to laugh at me, I had the belief that this woman was going to eventually become my wife, because she would even tell me that I have impregnated her the day when we would have slept together without using any protection. She would start to cry and she would say, "What am I going to do with this pregnancy? You've already impregnated me. I feel it that I'm already pregnant." One day she even started vomiting after we had finished making love, and she was saying that she was already feeling the pregnancy hormones, they were kicking in. So she was totally confusing my mind. That is why I ended up building a house in South Africa that I never stayed in. So this is a reason why I stayed for so many years in South Africa without achieving anything. Back home, I faced another problem. All those years that I have been in South Africa, there was a woman who was my wife that I had completely abandoned. So when I finally returned back home, I avoided my village and then I went to stay in another city close to our village. I did not even know where to start. If you spend so many years, like 15 years in South Africa, you are already naturalized to the South African environment. And when you return back to your country, it's like you are a foreigner. You are starting afresh. You are starting to learn the economics of the country, and you do not even know how to hustle like the way that you have been hustling for 15, 20 years in South Africa. That is where my problems began. One day, that was when I was looking for a way to return back to South Africa. So I ended up going to this other traditional healer in Mbare. So when I went to this traditional healer, I told the traditional healer about that police officer who had betrayed me, all the money that I used to have when I was in South Africa, and I was wasting all of that money on different women. So I also told him that I had a lot of friends that were also looking for traditional healers. As I was staying in Tembisa in South Africa, they were looking for spiritual solutions. That Sangoma then said to me, "My child, as for me, I always wanted to start a Sangoma business in South Africa. And I think that you are the one that can help me to start a business there in South Africa." He said that he was going to give me money, but I was supposed to travel with some of his herbs so that I can start selling them in South Africa. He said you can return back to that location that you are saying that you are staying and start operating as a traditional healer. You don't need any ancestral calling. You will just say that you have an ancestral calling and I am going to fortify you. So because I had lost so much, I managed to return back to South Africa. I had a crate of traditional herbs that I smuggled, as well as I was also smuggled into South Africa. And I then settled in Tembisa, but I moved places from where I used to stay and started to stay somewhere else. I started operating full-time as a fake unregistered Sangoma, and I started to make a lot of money. I was making money from my own people, Zimbabweans, that would come to me, and then I would give them some charms, and those that wanted to strengthen their manhoods, they would even come to me, especially my people from Zim, those that were afraid of the police. I would give them some charms so that when they are going to work, the police will feel lazy to stop the taxi in which they will be traveling in. Whilst I was operating this fake shrine, I fell in love with a beautiful South African girlfriend. I did not know this when I started dating her, that she was a heavy addicted gambler. She would spend all of her money that she would get in a casino. She would be losing a lot of money, and she did not even care about her children. She was just a gambler. So I decided to use my access to the occultic world to help him. I went back to that Sangoma back in Zim. So in our country, we do have a charm that is called Mushonga Wekubeja, meaning that this is a charm that can manipulate a casino machine and it can help you with supernatural winnings when you are betting. So I went there, and then I was given a clay pot. Inside there was a charm, and they gave me a tortoise. This tortoise was really small. They wrapped that tortoise inside of a red cloth, and they told me to put that tortoise inside of that clay pot and to return with it back to South Africa. They gave me almost an impossible task where I was supposed to go to her mother's house and to bury this tortoise and the clay pot in her bedroom. My mother-in-law gave birth to my wife, and back then we were still girlfriend and boyfriend. I did not know how I was going to do this. I then said to my girlfriend, I want to help you to renovate your mother's house. Let us start by putting some tiles. So when I went to her house, I ended up digging her mother's bedroom floor. I dug up in the middle where she would put her bed, and I buried that clay pot, and I poured concrete again, and I put the tiling. They did not even know that this was what I had done, because I did it. It was on a weekend when I was alone, and I pretended as if I wanted to finish as quickly as possible. And then I started digging, and then I put that clay pot. So after that tortoise had died, and then my girlfriend, she started to make a lot of money through gambling. I also started to do gambling as well. So me and my girlfriend, eventually we then got married. And I had not told her that I had taken a topology from Zim and I had buried it inside of her mother's bedroom. Her mother started to get sick. She started to get so thin, so much that it was so scary. When you would look at her, it was so scary. It was as if there was something that was eating her, and she died. When she passed away, she just mentioned my name. This is what my wife told me. As the family, they did not understand anything that has to do with sangomas and money rituals. They did not even think or suspect that she had been killed by my tokoloshi. As for me, I had forgotten about those lucky charms, because I had befriended another guy that was doing tenders, who was also giving me subcontracts. So I started to work like the way that I used to work before. Life returned back to normal, so I thought. One day, that was when my wife, after she had given birth, my wife had placed our baby boy in the middle of our master bed to take a nap. Surrounding him, there were big pillows so that he won't roll over. And then she just walked to the kitchen to prepare lunch whilst I was sitting in the lounge and I was busy thinking about what I wanted to do next. Suddenly, that was when we had something that had fallen, and then my wife ran to the bedroom and I followed her. My wife was already screaming. My wife, she was already screaming, and then my wife showed me the baby. The baby, you could tell that had broken his skull. Even the eyes, they were open, but they were so scary to look at. We rushed to the doctors. When we rushed to the doctors, Brother Nashim, there was nothing that could be done. That is how we lost our baby. Me and my wife, we lost the baby, and she started to have a lot of depression. Brother Nashi, from there on, I started to have dreams where I would see the tortoise eating the flesh of my baby. Life continued as normal. I returned back home, and when I returned back home, instead of my relatives to celebrate me, but they accused me of the death that had been happening in the family, saying that I was the one that was a money ritualist. I returned back to that Sangoma, who became open with me, and he told me that I had messed up my rituals, I don't know how, and that tortoise, it had changed and it was now a snake that survives on blood. It was the one that had killed my mother-in-law as well as my son. Brother Nashi, right now, I am currently living in hell. I am tormented day and night because our second son, who is currently 5 years, there was one day when he was walking in the house right in front of us. Then he screamed, "Snake, snake, snake." And when we said, "Where is the snake? Where is the snake?" we could not see the snake. Our son then said that he saw the snake in his eyes. When he said that he saw the snake in his eyes, I panicked. I was shocked, Brother Nashim. I don't know how to tell you how much shocked I was by this. But then I started to remember that even in my dreams, I even see this snake, and this snake tells me that it wants me to sacrifice my other son. So this is where I am right now. My relatives that are back home in Zim, they are doing a go back to sender for me. And as they are doing this go back to sender, they want my South African wife to die so that everything that I did when I went to that Sangoma to do this money ritual covenant, then after she would have died, there won't be anyone that will die in the family anymore. This is what my family members that are in Zim have since told me. They said that this is the only way so as to save the entire family. I need advice from your listeners. I've been thinking about telling my wife about this, but I'm scared that if I tell my wife, then she is going to do something bad. She can even have me killed, or she can die from depression or stress. I need your advice. I'll be following you in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. That was the translation of the message that our dear brother sent to us. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak about this in the comment section. What is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to tell his wife or not? Because the relatives that are back home, they want to go to a Sangoma very soon to do a go back to sender as the entire family. And once this go back to sender is done, then it means that the wife, the South African wife, she is going to be the one that is going to be sacrificed so that this Tokoloshim will stop killing people in the family. Let us speak with our dear brother in the comment section. I'll be back with another episode.